Football Saturday. Of course, we're going to have our live show just like we do every single day at 10 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. But normally we do our computer pick show during the week. We do this one at 5 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. And, it's going to be around that time, between 4 and 6, sometime before then, before our drive-through show. But on the weekends, going to try and slide it in early. The software has been red hot, so it's like I didn't want to skip out on the picks. Coming off of another 2-0 day yesterday at Spread Knowledge. We had a heater like this in college basketball. Let's see if we can finish college football season like that as we head into college basketball 11 days away from the start of college hoops. Oh man, after what we sat through in July and June and April, what's going to be better than 150 college basketball games on a Saturday with college football going on, NFL, everything. It's going to be absolutely awesome. Of course, Spread Knowledge is going to have picks and ratings on all of those games. And the way that Spread Knowledge works, it takes 4,000 data points. It puts those all together. It decides risk versus reward. It assigns a letter grade to each of these games. And then the way that this show works is we just take 2 of those picks, and it has picks on all the different games, even the games that were canceled. It did, its whole rating system on. But, in the postponed games, it did those as well. But, of course, it takes these 4,000 data points, and it says, is the risk worth the reward? Is the reward worth the risk? I mean, there's certain things that you would think are not as risky bets. Like, if Alabama was playing the high school across the street, right? Pretty safe bet, but you would have to lay a gigantic price to win a very small amount of money. Spread Knowledge can determine that through its data points. Is that type of bet worth it? And we see a lot of these type of bets I see in our Facebook group with people putting those types of tickets in their parlays. And, you always see me in there. Someone had minus 300 or something on, one of the games last night where the team easily covered. They did like minus 2.5 in a game where, they gave away, 60% of their profit on a game to buy 7 points that they didn't need to do. They covered it anyway. It just, bets like that, it doesn't make any sense. But Spread Knowledge kind of goes through all that stuff for you, and it just determines, hey, is this worth taking the points? Is this worth betting money line? Is this, is the money line good, but the points are no good? It's because I really want to be on this team for some reason. I always want to be on the team that make the most money. And, that was the FAU game, which we gave out the winner here on the show. But, anyways, we're just going to do 2 picks. That's what we do every day on this show. And, of course, at our 11 o'clock or 10 o'clock show, we go over all of the games. But let's take a quick look at the first pick for today's show. I was hoping that more people would get a chance to join us, but they haven't, and that's fine. Actually, I think my numbers are just off, and that's okay, too, because I'm showing different numbers on the other screen. So there's actually more people watching than I think there is. 57, 52, 64, 70, 80. Yeah, there's way more. Anyways, all right. It's just, it'll probably catch up. So our first pick of today's show, Spread Knowledge, of course, we use A or B rated picks. I just randomly pick games, out of the thing that fit that criteria. And here's our first game. The first game, Spread Knowledge likes Texas State plus 10.5 against Georgia Southern. Kind of an under-the-radar game, a game that we might not have been looking at, but Spread Knowledge gives Texas State a B rating, and at the same time, it doesn't love Georgia Southern. Texas State has played, and when we look at, the analysis that we know about these teams, right, Texas State has played a lot of tough games this year. They've played, tough out of conference. They've played a lot of the tough teams. They haven't fared extremely well. But Georgia Southern, this is a team that keeps the ball on the ground. They've played some tough teams, but they haven't held up extremely well either. Looks to me like a lot of points. This seems to me like a lot of points. So, I agree with Spread Knowledge here. I'm not betting this game personally. I have a lot of big bets today. We'll talk about that on our 10 o'clock show. But in this one, Spread Knowledge takes Texas State plus the 10.5. And that's going to be the first pick of today's show. Go through some of the questions. Yep, the thing I was talking about, Yeah, this has nothing to do with anything that we're talking about. Yeah, something's wrong with the with the software I used this morning. It's like I'm not seeing the pictures or anybody, but that's fine. Yep, I love having you guys on the show. If not, I'm just sitting here talking to myself. Nothing fun about that. Matter of fact, that's kind of weird, right? It's like, but anyways, let's get to another pick for today's show because I got to get the heck out of here. I got Bitler, Zawacki, Ruffalo, and of course, Ron Romanelli, who sits in on Saturdays for Ann Shore on our morning show. And he has been red hot since coming to the site. I got to say that I love having the young guys on the site like Ron. You know, I think it's awesome. And we have some more on the way. But anyways, let's get to another pick. Our second pick for today's show is going to be Georgia State on the spread against App State. Now, this one is interesting. App State is certainly the dominant team in that conference, but they are lousy at covering the spread, just 1-5, and likely that's what Spread Knowledge is looking at, is that App State generally lays a lot of points. They don't cover a lot of point spreads. What I haven't gone back and said on this show, and it's the obvious, is that this is just a small, tiny, 2-game sampling out of an entire college football card. Spread Knowledge has ratings on every game today, whether it's an A or whether it's an F. It has ratings on the money line, on the spread, and it has ratings on the money line, against the spread, and the total, the over and the under on every single college football game on the board today. It also has, all the different soccer leagues, even the weird little soccer leagues, tennis, baseball, basketball, NFL football we'll have tomorrow. You can get the NFL picks already today, but it has those. Just all different sports are covered in there. NBA, you name it. So it's not just, college football or anything like that. It is across the board. So you're talking every single game, you're getting a value rating, a computer-generated value rating. There's no human element in Spread Knowledge. And that's what some people, will write me an email or something, which is super obnoxious, by the way, asking me about a pick that I made on the Spread Knowledge show. I mean, if you want to send me an email and ask you something about the site or something about your premium membership or how do I do that, that's different. If you're asking me about a pick, super obnoxious, especially since it's Spread Knowledge. And it's not even my pick, man. Not even my pick. Yeah, yesterday on the show, Spread Knowledge gave out the under on Minnesota, Iowa, an A-rated pick. And it also gave out both teams. It was A-rated. And then also an A-rated pick on Florida Atlantic minus the 9.5. Charles is in Pennsylvania. We were chatting on Skype this morning. I don't know if he's watching the show or not. We could ask him. I'll ask him. I'll ask him, are you watching the show? So the other thing that I asked him about this dark mode that we magically switched to yesterday, and he said that it's a preference thing. And a matter of fact, he sent out an email to all the Spread Knowledge subscribers saying this is how you change it back to light mode. So we went 2-0 in dark mode. I'm leaving it in dark mode for the show. If we go 2-0 again, I'm going to leave it in dark mode. I'm not superstitious, except stuff I'm superstitious about. But we did go 2-0 yesterday. And of course, you can get for $5. You get 3 days. So it's like kind of like a weekend pack that you get for $5. It's like $1.50 a day. You get ratings on all of the games. And this is like a tool that you use along with this is the tool that you use along with your own picks or with your premium picks. It's just another thing. It's like for a month, it ends up being like $2 a day or something. Use the discount code Mitch. You get 10% off. So really, it's a no-brainer. I see comments like in the Facebook group, hey, did Mitch give out picks for tomorrow? I never give out picks for tomorrow, right? I only talk about today on all of our shows. The only time we ever talk about tomorrow, the weekend, it's like if there's 1 or 2 games and we're just looking for, anything to talk about. We might do that on one of the shows. But it's like, this is $5 for 3 days to get, I don't know, there's 100 and something picks. There's 100 and something picks today, right? If you count how many games there are, then you have each side, each total, each money line, the over and the under, right? So you have two different sides there, the against the spread, the money line, all those for each game, right? And then it's like you're talking about, then you have the same for NFL. You're going to have the same for college basketball where there's 150 games on a Saturday or more, right? 400 games, 200 games on a Saturday. There's 480 Division I college basketball teams. I mean, how crazy is that? How exciting is that, right, man? Whew. Action. I love college basketball. It's like 2 hours, you're in and out, man. Next. If you like action or you like betting on a lot of games, college hoops, that's why people love it so much, because there's so many games and it's like you're in and out. It's 2 hours, like clockwork, you know. Look at the schedule on TV. It's like one after another after another. It's every 2 hours they have those college basketball games. The whole game is really 40 minutes, right? So, I mean, that's how they fly through them. But anyways, our two picks for today's show. The other show always at 10 a.m. Eastern Standard Time, 7 days a week, 365 days a year. Not quite sure how to make that more obvious, but we will. But if I haven't made that clear to everybody. But our two picks for today are Georgia State and Texas State. We'll be back tomorrow with another computer pick show. I'll throw it in before the NFL tomorrow, or either after. Maybe we'll have time after the NFL show to do it as well. But be sure to just go to Spread Knowledge, click on the link in the description, get either the 3-day trial for $5. I mean, you can't beat that with a stick. What can you get for $5? I don't even think you can get like a cup of coffee. I know you can't get one of these Pick Dogs mugs for $5. That's for sure. So, what can you get for $5 these days? I mean, I always argue with Charles, the price is too cheap. Anyways, have a great day. I'll see you guys at 10 a.m. Eastern Standard Time, about 10 minutes or so, maybe 15 minutes, with Ron Romanelli, the Puck Dogs, and, of course, Brian Bitler. See you in a few. Thanks for joining me. Be sure to check out Spread Knowledge. Texas State, Georgia State are the two picks for today's show. We are 5-1 in our last 6 picks on this show.